Hello, all, and welcome to, I guess you could say, a pilot episode of Fully Loaded. I'm your host, Isaac Wilson. Today is March the 28th, a good day to have a good conversation with a great person. We're going to be talking about gun laws here in South Carolina. As you know, the gun laws have changed on March the 7th, 2024, and many people have many different questions about what they can do, where they can go. Can they have a gun this place or that place? So we're going to talk to a man who has done extraordinary things here in Florence County, South Carolina. He is the sheriff of the county. He has came in and just been a great person to gather community, has a great working relationship with our city police and just with the citizens themselves. So without further ado, I present to you Sheriff TJ Joye.
Thank you, Isaac. I appreciate it a lot.
How you doing, my guy?
I'm doing good, my friend. How about you? Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
No problem, no problem. So as I told you, we're going to do 3 would you rathers, okay?
Okay.
So our first one is, would you rather be forced to sing along in every song you hear, or dance to every song you hear?
Dance to every song. I
Okay,
can't sing.
you got some moves.
I
would
just
you
sing.
would you rather be able to fly everywhere you go or teleport?
Fly.
Fly. Why
Fly.
would you rather fly than teleport?
Quicker.
Okay. And our last one, would you never be able to go out during the day or never be able to go out at night?
Never go out at night.
Okay, I gotta
I
ask
love the
why.
I love the sunshine. I love the beauty of the day.
Okay,
I do.
okay,
I do.
okay. And I gotta ask this one for the old football coach. If you did not know, Sheriff Joye is definitely a football guy, former football coach. Who do you have? Who's your team, first of all?
Alabama.
Alabama,
Alabama.
Crimson Tide. So I guess you're feeling sorry about Nick Saban leaving, huh?
I am. I was old Bear Bryant man back in the day. I love Bear Bryant. And I was an old Alabama fan. So I do hate to see Coach Saban leave, but that's a good program. A
So
good
who
program.
do you have? Who do you have in the national championship in NCAA football this year?
I'm gonna say Georgia.
You're gonna say Georgia. Okay, y'all heard
Georgia,
it here. Y'all heard it here first. TJ Joy
Georgia,
has predicted Georgia to win the national championship in NCAA football.
they have something to prove. They got upset, and I think they're gonna come with a vengeance. I do. Personally.
Okay, well let's jump right into it. With these gun laws, if we could have the law put up here on the screen um, for us to read. So the new gun law here is H3594. It's signed into law on March the 7th. It authorizes individuals who are not otherwise prohibited from possessing a firearm to legally possess a firearm openly or concealed without training and without a concealed weapon permit issued by SLED. What this reads to me and what it reads to a lot of people, Sheriff, is that I could have this gun in my car and it could be sitting on a seat, it could be sitting wherever, and the police can't do anything to me about that. Is that true? Is
Yes,
there
sir.
some other things that need to be said on that?
That is correct. If the gun is in the car, console, dash, wherever, around your neck, as long as you're not a felon in possession, you can have it anywhere in the car. That's
Okay. Okay. Now I understand you have some points that you would also like to make about this here, and then we'll delve in after you go through those. We'll delve into conversation.
okay. Anyone 18 or older who is not a felon may carry a handgun, either concealed or open, with or without a CWP, anywhere but the following locations, and that which those stay the same to law enforcement or correction facilities, detention facilities, courthouse, courtrooms, polling places on election day, office of or meetings of government body, school or athletic events not related to firearms, daycare and preschool facilities, places prohibited by federal laws such as churches, hospital, medical clinic, doctor's office, residence of another without permission, places with signs prohibiting concealed weapons. One of the changes, Isaac, that we saw in this law was the 18-year-old who is not a felon can carry a firearm. It used to be 21. That changed. Now, the
Okay.
law is still an 18-year-old cannot go to a gun store and purchase a pistol due to the fact the federal statute says you got to be 21 to buy a handgun from a gun
So the
store.
only way that an 18-year-old would have possession of a firearm if someone were to buy it that's the age 21 over and give it to them. Now, can it go in their names?
Well, no.
No.
This is the kicker here. If an 18-year-old you had a weapon you wanted to sell, you could sell that to the 18-year-old, but they just cannot purchase it through a gun store because the federal statute says they have to be 21 years of age to buy from a licensed gun dealer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. See, I
Wow.
didn't know that. That's wild. 18-year-old having a gun. That means many of our kids who are 18, they're still in high school, and so they can
That's correct.
possess a firearm, and it could be within their car because they're legal drivers at 18, and it
That
could
is
be in
correct.
their car.
As long as the car is secured, locked up, or in the glove box or compartment to lock. That's correct.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
I'm flabbergasted on
Yes.
that. That's wild.
And another point, there is no duty to notify a law enforcement officer you are carrying.
Mm.
The mere fact that a person is openly carrying does not provide law enforcement with the ability to detain, search, or arrest. The officer must have articulable, reasonable suspicion of some crime to detain or in probable cause to arrest. In other words, if you're going down the road, walking down the road, you got a gun on your side, I ride by as a police officer, I can't just stop you for the mere fact that you've got that gun on your side. Now, if they gave out a call earlier that met the description, clothing and stuff, those are articulating facts, I can stop and say, need CID, weapon on you, was involved in crime, whatever. Those are the reasons you can be detained, but not by the mere fact of you carrying a firearm on your side. You cannot do it in open.
This is what scares me about that, because you could literally have someone going to commit a crime and they cannot be stopped. Whereas before, you might, as an officer, say, let me I see it open. I mean, he has it really open for him. And you might stop and say, hey, you might want to, put that away. Or if he sees you, he might be scared. Cops are in the area, he might not go commit that crime. But now he's not scared because he understands that you can't do anything about it, and he goes and commit that crime. So that's what I'm scared about.
That is correct. That's the law now. That is the law.
Wow. Okay. It gets scarier, doesn't it?
It does indeed, my friend. It gets bigger as we go.
Okay.
As I said, the mere fact of them carrying a weapon does not give us probable cause to stop them. The penalties for unlawful carry, first offense, not more than 1 year in prison and a fine. Second offense, not more than 3 years. For third offense, not more than 5 years. Anyone using a concealed weapon to commit a crime must be imprisoned by up to 3 years to be served consecutively, to the underlying crime. Does not apply if the person has a CWP. Anyone convicted of a crime punishable more than 1 year in prison cannot possess a firearm or ammunition. First offense carries a penalty of up to 5 years in prison. Second offense mandatory 5 years. Third offense mandatory 10 years. You cannot carry a firearm concealed or open in a business, bar, or restaurant which sells alcohol for consumption on premises. If you consume alcohol, If you carry and ask to leave, if you carrying and you're asked to leave, you must do so. Refusal can result in a misdemeanor unlawful carry charge punishable by fine and up to 2 years in prison or both.
So what that means is you cannot go into Longhorns, Olive Garden,
That's right.
any clubs because they
That's
serve
right.
alcohol,
That's correct.
any juke joints and bars. You should not have a concealed weapon in any of those places.
That is correct.
And if the owner asks you to leave and you do not leave and authorities are called, you are going to jail. And these penalties, uh, you can, have up to what, 5 years in prison?
That's correct. Refusal to leave can result in a misdemeanor unlawful carry charge punishable by a fine and up to 2 years in
Okay.
prison or both, according to the judge can make that sentence on that.
Okay. Y'all heard it. Y'all heard it. He's saying if they ask you to leave and you don't leave, you're going to jail for a good while. And he's also saying don't do it. Just leave it in your car because you're not supposed to have it in there anyway. So just leave it in your car where it is perfectly legal to have it in your car. So just leave it there. Go in, do what you need to do, come out, and then you go home or go to your next place that you need to go.
I actually had a case that I was called, and a guy took a picture of someone sitting at the bar with a pistol on, drinking a beer at the bar. So, the guy gave me the owner, and I told him what he could do, and didn't have any problems. But a lot of this, Isaac, is people just don't know.
Right.
And the transition when the governor signed this, I'm not a lawmaker. I'm a lawman. I enforce the law. I'm not the law. I represent it.
Right.
There wasn't a whole lot of time, if you will, for these people to understand and this to go into effect for us to educate. And I was talking with my command staff this morning. It might be a good idea that I do some more, open town hall meetings around the county to describe, explain and describe to them what they can and can't do.
Right. Yeah, that definitely be good because some people just are, you give them an inch, they'll take a mile without reading it and without taking proper precautions. So you're right about that, and I'll be sure that I can help you with that if that needs to be as well.
I'd love for us to get together. We go break bread or something and line this up. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Another one: a public or private employer may allow or prohibit firearms on premises, which includes machinery, vehicle, or equipment owned by the employer. And SLED's going to have the task of offering the training if people still want it. They'll continue to issue the CWPs upon training and application. SLED, listen at this now, SLED must provide free firearms training in each county 2 times per month. SLED must develop a document and distribute to South Carolina gun retailers advising gun purchases how to obtain a CWP or training. So it's going to be mandated that SLED has to man up on all that stuff.
Yeah. There was some new monies that they got for that to do that. So they're well equipped to do that. So people can still go get their CWP. And the reason why we still want you to go get it so that you know the safety of guns, how to properly use the guns, learn the law about the guns, and just be an all-around responsible gun owner, because we want you to bear arms, your Second Amendment right. Nobody's trying to take your guns. We just want you to be safe in handling these guns, and teaching our young folk about this as well. Some people are learning to shoot guns and know about guns as young as 10. So let's teach them the right way and show them the law the right way, so they can be productive citizens in society as well.
And the one thing that I could say about this whole stuff, the CWP is still, like you said, good for training, but also, Isaac, purchasing the weapon, you can purchase it quicker with a CWP in your possession than you could just a regular civilian.
Okay. Yeah. CWP means that you're responsible and you did the proper precautions.
And you've been in that background, right?
And do not go in the store and get angry with the gun manufacturer, gun seller, some of them are still going to do their background checks. I'm not going to say all of them are, but most of them still are going to do their background checks. So that is still a part of this thing. That does not change.
That's correct.
That does not change. So you can't, if they say you got a 3-day hold or we got to wait till something come back in 7 days, that is still the law. They still have that right to do a background check before they sell you that gun.
That's correct.
Okay. So I've been getting this question here, and we know that a lot of African Americans have been killed for reaching for a gun or whatever situation in the news and all of this good stuff. We understand it. We see that. That's visible. You know, African Americans are being killed at a higher rate than probably than any other race. People are concerned that when people see African Americans in vehicles, when it's sitting on the seat or it's sitting on the glove box or wherever, that cop is maybe saying reach for your license and might say, hey, he reached for his gun and shoot him. How do we curb those things from happening? Now that we can have this gun in this car and that officer may be feeling like you're reaching for your gun, or you may be feeling like the officer is reaching for it. Like it could be a battle there. So what do you say to those people that think like that?
Isaac, I think the proper thing to do, by law, you don't have to do it.
Right.
To say, I have a gun in this car and let the officer know. But understand now, by law, you do not have to do that. Right. But letting them know if he shines a flashlight and sees it, then it's probably going to put him in a panic. That's some of the concerns that I have with this law. But I would always be open to any police officer who stops you. Just say, look, I have a gun in the car. I'm, following the law. I can have it in this car. I'm not a felon, but I do have a gun in the car. Let them notify you. Do not have to. Isaac, I really do believe they're going to have to make some changes to this law.
Right.
I think when they go back to the drawing board, there's some things that's going to have to be changed on this. And you have a valid point, not only for law enforcement, but mainly for the civilians,
right,
that are out there, and that's their God-given right to do this. But I've always said I mess up, fess up, but those things happen when you get police officers that get scared and react, and not always in the right manner, and it happens, and it's sad.
Okay. I agree. They're gonna have to do this. I think we have some comments that are in the comment section. So let's go up top here. We have someone that says the murder rate is going to increase substantially. We have someone that says now this makes it very dangerous to be an officer. Shoot this. This makes it dangerous for anybody. As we just mentioned, it makes it dangerous for everybody. What about the mall? Someone asked a question. What about the mall? What about open carry in the mall?
Am I correct? They got that. They're not supposed to have it. If it's posted, they can't have it there. And I want to say, we went over that. The mall's posted, I do believe. I don't want to tell you something but I mean, if they've got it posted, they cannot carry it in the mall, and they're supposed to have it at each entrance in the mall. And I'm pretty sure I haven't checked on that, but it's supposed to be marked there not to bring into the mall.
Okay. One person asked, can he repeat the part about buying the gun in CWPs?
Yes. If you have a CWP, your purchase to that weapon due to your background will be a lot quicker than it would if you were just a civilian without a CWP. The CWP makes that purchase quicker in the gun stores.
Okay. And so what he's saying, Tina, I think you posed that question, is that like I recently just bought a firearm. I had to wait. The first time I bought a firearm, I got it in 30 minutes, and that was it. So the second time I went, I had to wait about 3 or 4 days to get it. I had no CWP. So if I went in there with a CWP, they're probably just going to give it to me in that 30 minutes or that 20 minutes versus waiting those, because they're waiting for something from the background. But if you got a CWP, that means your background is already done and you're cleared if you got a CWP.
That's right. And to be honest with you, I went and purchased a gun um, 2 Christmases ago, and I had my credentials and all, and it didn't matter because I didn't have a CWP, and I've
Oh
been
wow.
39 years of law enforcement, been through training, 2 times a year to shoot. But, these are the things that are concerning to me, the training, the aspect. I believe everyone has a right to have a gun. This is America. That's fine. But I do think we're going to have to or the lawmakers going to have to revisit this.
Oh,
And
oh, most definitely. Most
I,
definitely. Most
it's
definitely. Now, here's a question here. Uh, what about weapons other than handguns? What does the law say about those guns? So concealed weapon. What does that mean? Is that having the length of less than 12 inches? Anything over 12 inches means
That's
what?
correct. 12 is less than 12 inches or less. That's correct. That's what
Okay.
the statute falls under, more or less handgun.
Okay. So if you have anything over that in your car, then that gun would be considered under this law.
Correct. That's
Okay.
correct.
So that means you guys are walking around or have these guns like AK-47s and stuff in your cars. That stuff is uh not under this law. You still have to. Can that even be in your car?
Yes, it can be in the trunk and in the area of the car. Yes, it can.
Okay. Okay.
Secured like that. Yeah. People hunt a lot. They got them in the cases and stuff. That's
Mhm.
fine. That's correct.
Okay. And then what about magazine limits for handguns?
Um, I don't. What's the time of that today?
This law doesn't address that.
This law, Isaac, does not address that, and I've looked over it and over it, but it does not. The capacity of the clips, it is not, in this law, in this
Okay.
amendment section of it.
Okay. Um. Okay. I think there was another question I wanted to carry business at a hotel, bars, or restaurants. I think that's it. Let me see if there are any more questions or comments here. Okay, I see none there. They're gonna have to make changes to this law. Of course, we've stated that. Draper Myers said best thing to do if pulled over is put your phone on record ASAP, then put your hands out the window, still driving to a lighted area first, and also saying if you do or if you don't have a firearm in the car. If not, why would an officer already have his hand on his weapon? Those are good point. Those are good points, Draper. Definitely good points. And I'm glad he brought this point up. That is a point that I think over the years that people have, um, they didn't know whether they could do or not. So if I am driving on a road that is dark, I'm on a highway, and it's dark. Can I, with blue lights behind me, keep going until I get to a lighted area and feel comfortable? How does that work? Is that law or is that just
No,
safety?
well, common sense is a virtue. What I suggest, I agree with that. It's good for both the officer and that, but make sure you indicate that you're, some hand motion. I'm coming up here.
Okay.
Or pulling,
Emergency flashes.
yeah, cut your emergency flashers on, or do something, and just do not ignore the fact the blue lights are behind you.
Right. Right.
And I admit, look, I'm an honest person. Sometimes these officers do go off the deep end or get scared and do stuff, and
Right.
that's one of the things And Draper's a good man. I think a lot of them. He's got a valid point there, but training in these situations and teaching people. That's why we have more training than we ever had before, because these issues we address them, but they come up, And at the end of the day, I'm accountable to every person in this county. I'm
Right.
accountable for what my deputies do. And like Dr. Jackson told me a while back, I'm not going to be held accountable for what they mess up. I'm going to be held accountable when they do mess up, how I address it and what I do with them. And that's what we look at. That's what I do as a whole. We mess up, I'm gonna fess up. I won't cover anything up, because our responsibility is to serve and protect. And I work for you, Isaac. I work for the people,
For
and
the
I
people in Florence County.
I take that very serious. And at, I take this training that we make them go through, you know, provide every scenario and teach them that don't be so quick to, pull your weapon. Don't be so quick. Actually, we, process accreditation, and that's one of the things, the use of force, that we have indicators if someone's had so many use of forces that we revisit that. So these things are issues that we take very seriously here at the Florence County Sheriff's Office.
That's right. And what he said is true. There's not been a phone call that he has not answered. There has not been information that I needed that he's not given me within the law that he could, that he has not given me. And so he's really a stand-up guy when it comes to that. What happens to convictions of illegally carry before new law? If you were convicted prior to the enactment of this bill of the unauthorized carry and possession of a firearm, commonly known as UCAP, you can apply for that charge to be expunged under the new law. Are you familiar with that?
That's correct. You can.
Okay. Could you possibly say something on that?
Well, I think you'd have to go through, if I'm not, there's a process through the solicitor's office that we're dealing with now with some of these guns that we've charged people with. And actually, prior to this, some of the gun charges that we made, I've already gave, the authority to go ahead and dismiss those and get the weapons back to the people, as long as they're not felons. As long as they're not felon cases.
Hey, that's a good thing. I don't know too many law enforcement officers that probably would do that. They probably would just let it go about their business and say, hey, it happened before the law, let's just let it go. So that's good that you're returning.
I think, Isaac, with this coming in and the people wanting to get their record expunged, these people didn't have a criminal record. That's something we need to do, and we're going to do it here. If they're not a felon, we're going to make sure those weapons get those charges expunged. Get with the solicitor on that.
Okay. My last question to you is, what impact? Because I see Miss Kelsey Ann Green, she's talking about mental health.
Yes.
And how is that going to play? I don't know how you get around it, because if you go to a gun owner of a gun shop who is not providing a background check, and they just are selling a gun, how do we curb this mental health of putting guns in the hand of somebody who's not stable? How do we?
First of all, we need more mental health facilities to help these people. Secondly, the people, we need to hold them accountable for selling weapons to someone that does have mental illness. And it is a sickness, and it's a serious thing. This thing where we go out to a call and just go lock somebody up, but they're mentally ill. We don't need them in the jail here. They need help. I know we're working on some facilities around here. I know Brian Braddock and a few people and that are trying to get us some facilities here. We need bedding. We need help for these people. They don't need to be in the county jail. They're sick and they need help. But to keep the guns out of their hands, I think what we're going to have to do, they're going to have to come make an amendment when these people sell guns to people that are not in their right mind, or they know it and they don't follow the law to the T with the background, make sure they don't have any mental health. Just like the shooting in Michigan where the parents went to jail, that's what's going to have to happen.
Yeah.
Make people realize that this is an issue that we really need to address. And it is. This, back when Governor Campbell was, governor, he closed all these medical facilities. And that really hurt South Carolina, because even when I was a deputy, we had places, more beds to take them, and people, we were steady transporting them to and from then. But it needs to be more facilities for mental health issues, because some living on the street, some homeless, we get them, people call about them trespassing and end up putting them in jail. I don't like to do that. We just need more facilities to get them help. We really do.
That's right. And I think we're getting those federal dollars are coming in for that. And if you know that your child or has a mental illness, or is unstable or acts erratic, don't put weapons in the hands of people who are unstable, because it puts them at risk of getting hurt, getting shot, getting killed, and it might put that officer or whoever they're attending to at risk, because they want to get home and go back to their families as well. So we just got to do a better job of holding each other accountable to that.
Well, the sad thing, Isaac, most of the people who are killed by somebody mentally ill or have no business with a weapon, it's not the police officers, it's your facilities, your schools, your restaurants and stuff, these mass shootings. That's the sad thing about it.
Right. Right. And Kelsey Green made another good point. Don't have them in the house if they are. Have them locked up. Don't have it where it's access to those guns. So again, we just got to do a better job of keeping those guns out of the hands of those people. Sheriff Joye, we thank you for your service. Sheriff Joye is on the ballot in the primaries, but also on the ballot here in November. He is a good man. Good sheriff. We've seen crime go down here in Florence County with his leadership. And like I said, he has a great working relationship with everyone. He doesn't matter whether you are Democrat, Republican, white, black, Indian, whoever. If you call this man, he's going to answer and he's going to have service to you. I don't know how many times I called him last minute and said, Sheriff, I need somebody tomorrow. And he stopped what he was doing and he made it happen. So I'm just thankful that we have that relationship and he continues to do great work here.
You know one thing, I love you. You know my cell number. Please tell anyone that wants to get in touch with me. I know Draper's, I see him coming up. I want people to understand. I take this job very serious. I take this job. I'm committed to serving the people. And with that, my phone stays on 24/7. It never turns off. So I'm telling you, if you have a problem, if you can't find out my cell number, Isaac has it, and you're welcome to call me. If I don't know it, I can't do anything about it.
Right. All right. Sheriff, thank you. Thank you for coming on.
I appreciate you, man. You hollered. Happy Easter. Have a good Easter.
You too.
All right. Thank you.
A great conversation, you guys. He didn't have to do this out of his schedule of protecting and serving Florence County, and he did. This will be up on our page. And these are kind of the conversations that we want to have, things that are meaningful to our community as a whole, things that will affect South Carolina, affect us as a people of color, but as a community, period. So I just want you guys to know that this is what this podcast is going to be about. So here's my last take on our conversation and on this podcast. We want to make sure that our homes and our communities are safe. Guns are not the way to handle our problems. I will tell anyone, you have a Second Amendment right to bear arms, but bear arms responsibly. If you have a mental condition, if you know that you are unstable in terms of acting erratic or have a diagnosis, let's get you trained in the way that you need to be trained. Let's get you help in the way that you need the help. Do not stray away from it. It is not something to be ashamed of. We all are going through something. We all are battling something, and we don't want people to keep dying because of gun violence. Parents, put your kids in mentoring programs. Find a mentor that they can mentor from. You have good men. I see Draper Myers on. He has a heart for young people, has a heart for the community. Call him up, ask him to mentor your child. But we have to keep them off the streets. We have to keep them away from guns because they're going to be our next doctors and lawyers and sheriffs and police officers. And we want them to be in good faith and to be in good mental health. So that's my take. I will see you guys next time. And as always, peace, love.